This is a video for how to go about creating item banks for quiz questions in Canvas. You will notice that I am at a home screen of kind of a sandbox account that I have created. I can create things within a sandbox and then export it to a class that I'm teaching. I have some things I've imported from a current class I'm teaching into this. And you'll see on the left-hand side of the screen, I have all these different menus, things I can go in, and I already have some quizzes that I have created, kind of an idea of where we're going to be heading. When I go to quizzes, you can see some things loaded for a class that I'm teaching. I can go to question banks out of quizzes also, and I've imported a whole bunch of quiz questions and question banks from classes that I've taught over the years, and I just kind of have this menu of question banks. And where I'm going in this video is, you'll see on the left hand side there's something over here that says item banks, and you can start creating quiz questions and item banks, and you can import and export those out of courses as you teach throughout the year, and like year after year after year. So if you create a really good quiz question for a test or for a class you're teaching, you just keep exporting and importing that as you go out through your through teaching and through anything that you're doing. So on the left hand side of the screen, I'm going to click on item banks, and I'm going to start creating some item banks. So what you just saw on the screen was all those different lessons for a class I'm currently teaching that I had imported. In this case, we're going to start creating some item banks. So I'm going to click on plus bank over here, and you can say, I have a class, and I'm going to say it has different units. So, I'm just going to say unit 1 question bank for the sake of discussion here. And I'm just going to go ahead and go to create bank. And it's going to create all these different kind of file folders, if you will. And so I can come into here again, and, I'll call this one unit 2. I can say, unit 2 question bank, and say create bank. And we'll just say within unit 1, down here it's going to list the date that I'm creating this video, how many questions I have in here, all the different things I can do with it. And when I click on question bank, obviously there's nothing in here. And when I go and I start creating quiz questions, I think it's important to be a little bit specific about the activity for a question. So when I go to new right here and I put in a different type of question, like for instance, we'll just create a real simple multiple choice quiz question for this one. Pretty straightforward. The question title up here at the top, I have a tendency to write activity, or if it's a project activity 1.1.1, and if I said state capitals or state capitals, something like that. And if it said add question, what is the capital of Missouri, something just simple like this. I want the the correct answer for this is going to be Jefferson City. I'm just going to write in a couple different things here. So I'm just creating a real basic thing. I'm going to put in Washington DC, whatever you choose to write in, and I'm going to type in Springfield, and I'll get rid of the last answer for the sake of time. I'm going to say I don't want this right here to be correct. So here, one thing you can do is you can click on the side, give some feedback if somebody didn't get something right, or you can go through and do all those types of things. So when we're done just creating a quick answer, you can shuffle the choices each time the kid takes the quiz. I can just go ahead and say done and go back, and we now have one of those questions. And I like the fact that I've done item activity 1.1.1, because if you're teaching and you can keep everything itemized, I can say 1.1.1, it's going to pull it right up here to the top. So if by chance within a question bank you came up with 50 questions and you wanted that specific one, I think it's really important to make sure that you're within your correct units and activities. So if we come up and we go back to item banks, you can see that we have one question in here, and we can create and organize all these question banks. And in later videos, when we start making quizzes, we can pull from those item banks and put them into quizzes. So this has been a video for how to go about creating item banks for quiz questions in Canvas.